Recently, I've come to realize that first impressions also really matter in running a company. And I'm not talking the obvious. I mean, we all know that first impressions matter when you go on a date or you go into a club, or even when doing sales. So basically, when it's about physical appearance, that's how we usually think about it. But I also realized that when you're doing project management or when you're managing people, it's also very important, and then not your physical first impression, but how you make decisions and the actions you take. So one example we had recently in our company is a vendor we're dealing with, a supplier who's doing a project for us. They're one day late with the delivery, the first date. So then you're just getting started in your corporation. So I think most people think, well, we're just getting started. At that point, also it's not that critical. It's just the first milestone. So then you tend to give some flexibility. But actually, what that tells the other person is like, oh, these they're not that strict, or at least even subconsciously that's what people think. So then when you get down the road, it gets harder and harder to get strict. Whereas if you immediately at that first milestone call them up the next morning and say, where is it? Then you immediately send a message like, ooh, these people are strict. And then later on, if the vendor has to choose between two different clients because they're too busy and they need to prioritize, they will definitely try to make you happy because they know you're that difficult customer, or you're that difficult guy. And the same thing happens in managing people, I think. When we just bring a new person on board, we want them to have a pleasant experience, and at least I tend to be pretty nice. So if in the beginning something goes wrong, of course I will say so. It's not that I will not say anything, but I'll be pretty relaxed about it. Whereas if immediately you're very strict and you're very firm about it, then you immediately send the signal like, hey, we really take our dates or our deadlines or our agreements super seriously here. So that's been a very important lesson for me recently to, you can be nice, but you can still be strict and firm, and you should actually do so right from the beginning, right from that first impression, because that's what people take away.